is around 5 to 7 minutes delay, but we'll cover up that 5 to 7 minutes anyhow. As of now, it is around 120 participants here. Really, it was eye-opening for the Indian educators with respect to Indian knowledge system, how you are participating and why you are participating for this short-term course. From today onwards, it begins, this Indian knowledge system. If you look into the some mistakes. This Indian knowledge system, the history of this Indian knowledge system goes back to several decades, and during the Vedic period, as here mentioned, as well as in the classical period, and some of the major objectives of this Indian knowledge system under national education policy. It has been established the innovative cell under the Ministry of Education. Around it is 5 to 6 years back. To promote interdisciplinary research. I hope my screen is visible to you. The text is small as I prepared in the Android. Later I translated on iOS, but might be it is visible to you. Whether it is visible or not visible. If it is not visible, I will use a PDF version.
Zoom it out.
It is visible, sir.
Little zoom it out.
Visible, sir.
You are not
So
audible.
visible but very
It is
small,
good,
sir.
audience.
Fonts are very small. Text is very small, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, it can't be read, sir. It
Text
is
is very
visible, but
small.
we cannot read it.
Okay. I will use another options. Just a minute. I will close this one. Just. Sir, can you share my PPT? Some issues is there with me. Just a minute. Hope now it is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as I told you, this is the historical background about Indus Valley civilization. It goes back to Vedic period. It goes back to classical period of the ancient India. After NEP 2020, the government has realized the importance of this Indian knowledge system. They has established the cell under the Ministry of Education in October 2020 under the supervision of AICT with a few objectives in the mind. Those objectives, as I presented before you, to promote interdisciplinary research on all aspects of Indian knowledge system, on all aspect of Indian knowledge system with us say interdisciplinary research to carry out as interdisciplinary research with respect to all domains and to preserve and disseminate Indian knowledge system for further research and societal applications. If you look into the world of knowledge around the different continent, almost all the knowledge which are they are claiming their own, but the roots are in Indian knowledge system. That's why we need to make more research on that. Where is the real root of the things which are claiming with in terms of copyrights or in terms of patent or in terms of commercialization by the various scientists or various innovators in the world. But if you look into the history of India, that Indian knowledge system, we never claimed such type of any rights on the knowledge. But other Westerns, they are doing like that. But we need to preserve and disseminate that kind of Indian knowledge system for further research and societal applications of our countries and rest of the countries. That's why I actively engage for spreading the rich heritage of our country and traditional knowledge in the field of art, literature, agriculture, basic science, engineering, technology, architecture, management, economics, and all the disciplines in the domain of learning. To preserve Indian heritage, values, ethics, and to apply ancient knowledge to modern problems such as climate change or sustainable development, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals or SDG, and sustainable development and decolonize Indian education in a way that reduces undue Western influences. Right now, almost all we are going with our own indigenous model, but we are trying to reduce that Western influences on our countries. Now we are taking care of rest of the world based on our Indian values, ethos, traditions, and cultures. Also, we need to promote, our Indian knowledge system by keeping these objectives in mind. The government of India has realized that the importance of the Indian knowledge system in our country. If you look into the why this Indian knowledge system is unique, no, the Satyameva Jayate. No, we the Indians, we are following this one. The government of India or Supreme Court of India is having this motto, Satyameva Jayate. Truth always wins. We are, we are not hiding any truth. We are keeping it, open to other rest of the world. That's why government of India as well as Supreme Court of India is having this motto, that is the, Satyameva Jayate. If you look into the another verse, this is Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Let everyone lives with happiness. We the Indians, we are thinking like this, Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. This is the Sanskrit phrase or mantras or motto of some of the institutions or department or organization in our country. It embodies a profound message of universal well-being. We are not thinking about our countries only, ourselves only, but we are thinking about the universal well-being. This ancient Indian mantra, it has been echoed across the century and transcending the culture, religions, to convey the powerful aspiration for the happiness and prosperity of all living beings or all beings on the earth, not restricted to any countries or continent. That's why the significance of this Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu is rooted in the principles of empathy, compassion, and unity. It encompasses interconnectedness of all living beings and encourages a sense of collective well-being. By invoking this Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu, we the Indians, acknowledging our shared human experiences, and aspires for the happiness and prosperity of ourselves, others, and world at large. Like this, we are thinking, let everyone lives with happiness, a universal message of well-being. Similarly, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. It is the blessings for universal happiness. May all be happy. We the Indians, we are thinking like this. This is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. It is also offers a heartfelt blessings for the happiness and well-being of all beings. This ancient Indian mantra has been used for centuries to spread love, kindness, and positivity, prosperity for promoting a culture of universal harmony. If you look into the significance of this powerful Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha mantra, the expression of benevolence embodying the principles of empathy, compassion, and kindness. By reciting this Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha mantra, we extend our goodwill. We extend our goodwill and warm wishes to all beings, acknowledging our shared human experiences and interconnectedness. We the Indians, we are feeling like this. Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Vidya Dadati. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is also very well versed, statement we are having this across the world. They are using after the, the that is yoga as international days, and government of India has promoted this word message to this message to the whole world. The whole universe is the family. It is a legacy of devotion and services for the rest of the world. This Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it is the synonymous with devotion, service, and selflessness services to the world. This revered individual has left an indelible mark on the lives of countless people by the Indians, inspiring a legacy of love, compassion, and kindness. This Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the achievement of this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam are a tribute to our tireless effort and unwavering commitment. If you look into some of the established educational institutions and healthcare and social welfare organization, even if you remember that during the COVID period, Government of India has distributed vaccinations to the rest of the world by utilizing ourselves and as well as distributed to the rest of the world. But if you look into the other countries, they utilized after remaining the things they distributed to their friend countries. But we the Indians, we are thinking about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole universe must be happy. Now, we the part of our whole universe. I mean, universe is a family, we are thinking. That's why we spreaded that message by distributing vaccinations to the rest of the world. Another is Vidya Dadati Vinayam. This sloka, if you look into this is the one of the good verse. Knowledge generates humility. Knowledge generates humility. Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Vinayadi Yati Patratva, Patratvatu Dhanam Pnetu, Dhanatu Dharmam Tataha Sukha. We are thinking like this. Some of the educational institutions, we are thinking knowledge. Educational institutions will generate the humility through educating people. Now, through that, the persons will earn something by their ability or by their knowledge. After earning something, they will not keeping with them, but they are distributing with others who with the needy people. By that, they are getting, self-satisfaction. That's why the full stanza of the Vidya Dadati Vinayam is like this. Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Vinayadi Yati Patratva, Patratvatu Dhanam Pnoti, Dhanatu Dharmam Tataha Sukhaha. We the Indians, we are feeling like this, but it is not for self, but it is for selflessness service for the rest of the world. Similarly, Karmanne Vadikaresu Mapaleshu Kadachana. We are thinking Nishkama Karma. We have a right to perform our prescribed duty. but we are not entitled to the fruits of our actions or fruits of our duty. But we don't expect anything. We need to perform nishkama karma. This kind of Indian knowledge system gives the message to the rest of the world. Similarly, Anubhadro Karto Yantu Vishwataha. This is the powerful Sanskrit mantra. It resonates with a profound message of wellness and prosperity of us as well as for all. This ancient Indian prayer, Anubhadro Kartu Entu Vishwataha, seeking the well-being of individual and communities and the world at large. If you look into the significance of this Anubhadro Kartu Entu Vishwataha, it embodies the universal aspirations for well-being of all beings on the earth by acknowledging our interconnectedness and the collective desire for happiness and prosperity. By reciting this prayer, we invoke the energies of the universe to foster a culture of wellness, harmony, and balance in the system and society. This message of Anubhadro Parto Yantu Vishwataha has a far-reaching implications in various aspects of our life, from personal growth, cultivating inner wellness and happiness of oneself, and relationship with others, nurturing harmonious connections and prosperity with others, and in terms of community, fostering a collective well-being and social cohesion. We will taking care of that. That leads to the global citizenship. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, embracing our shared humanity and striving for universal wellness. That's why this Anubhadro Karto Yantu Vishwataha is a timeless and universal prayer. It resonates across the culture, religion, and boundaries or borders. May this ancient mantra will inspire us to cultivate a culture of wellness, harmony, and balance, creating a brighter future for all of us on the earth. We, the Indians, we are feeling like this as a, being the Indians, we are taking care of the whole world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, universal family. But if you look into the rest of the Western country, what is going on in the geopolitical scenario, the things are entirely different. But I am not able to discussing that point. But we, the Indians, we need to uphold this, dignity of Indian persons at the world at the highest level. We need to promote this legacy, to feel that we the Indians always like this Satyameva Jayate Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Karmanya Vadikarastu are Nishkama Karma. Like this, we need to think we are going ahead. That's why the Indian knowledge system is very important. If you look into the different scriptures of Indian knowledge from long back. If you look into the present slide, which I am presenting, what is Indian knowledge system? It is the collective range of Indian knowledge. It has exhibited in systematized way of knowing, starting from the oldest composition of knowledge, that is the Vedic literature, to the country natives. That is Vedic literature is our Indian native, literature, and tribal folklore. The Indian knowledge is spread as a spectrum from Vedic literatures to the present. What we are at local level is also we are having a certain kind of knowledge or traditions or ritual or practices. Those are the vast repository of knowledge available not only in a particular languages but are in a local languages also. If you look into the Veda and other things, Upanishad available in Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit. But rest of the some knowledge is also there, but in the local language. That is our duty. But right now, we will work on that for further research on that as the motto or objectives of the Indian knowledge system in the Ministry of Education. It has remaining unexplored for the last several decades. The local some importance. They are taking care of that by offering different kinds of projects for research work. Now, that's why Indian knowledge encompasses the foundational knowledge with respect to science, engineering, and technology, who are claiming their own rest of the world. Humanities and social sciences through the structured classification of this Indian knowledge system has evolved over millenniums together. It has a wide range of several branches under this Indian knowledge system. Astronomy is there, Ayurveda. We'll discuss the details about in the next coming slides also. No, none of the area has non-touched by this Indian knowledge. They explored each and every domains of knowledge. Once the Acharya Arbindu, they written letters with to the India's rebirth. We Indians born and bred in a country where jnana has been stored and accumulated since the race began. The human race has begun from that time to right now also we are born in us the inherited gains of many thousands of years. I mean our traditions, our rituals, our practices, our beliefs, and now our value system. It is the epitome of all the at larger human beings. This Indian knowledge system contributions to the various fields, including the planetary movement, understanding of the planetary movement, solar centric world, shape and diameter of Earth, the nature of planet, and different kinds of herbs, shrubs, and trees, skills of surgical procedures with respect to Ayurveda, discovery of zero, decimal system of numerals, approximation of algorithm for computation of pi, Panini universal grammar, method of steel making, good governance, taxation, whatnot. It includes each and every disciplines in our Indian knowledge system. That's why in the 18 Vidyasthanas, I have one session on day after tomorrow with respect to this 18 Vidyasthana. That is the Ashtadasa Vidyasthanas. The school of learning were part of ancient India. Yeah. Am I audible? My screen is disappeared.
Yes, sir.
Screen is visible? No.
Visible, sir.
Yes, sir.
My presentation is visible to you?
Visible,
Yes, sir.
sir.
It is visible.
My system quantities adjustment. Yeah, I hope again it is visible to you. For me, it is also visible. Like this,
Yes,
we have different 18 Vidyasthanas. I will discuss the later slide in brief, but details in the day after tomorrow class. The high IQ is important. Once the Acharya Kautilya has said about education with respect to graduate or any level of education. We are expecting three outcomes as a characteristics in the learners, whether at school level or at college or university level. As right now we are having our curriculum outcome based or LOCF curriculum or outcome based education we are talking, but right now we are talking, but the early in the Indian knowledge system in the earlier period also it is there. Outcomes as characteristics. What kind of characteristics we are expecting at the learners in the ancient period? First is Vidya, Viveka, Vichekshanastha. These are the three key words in the learners we need to expect, whether at early stage of learning or middle stage or later stage of their learning. Vidya, that is knowledge. Creation of knowledge is the very important. Right now, we are thinking, if you look into the history of Indian education system, in the ancient India, we are thinking about like this creation of new knowledge. After British entered into our countries, they imposed English on us. I mean, the medium of education, they made it English medium. Now, we are passionate towards learning about the English through English all. But the things are root memory. It promotes the root memory. Now, that memorization. But if we learn the things through our mother tongue, we can understand, we can apply in our life, we can create new things or new knowledge. That's why in the ancient period, even it is the scriptures are in Veda, Sanskrit or Pali or Prakrit, but the local, they are also giving importance by the time. But right now also we need to think about that. Like this, the Vidya Viveka Vichakshanata. Vidya means knowledge. They are giving utmost importance to creation of new knowledge, as Kautilya said, whether at early stage of education or middle or at higher education. That is the basic characteristics of the learning. To create the new knowledge, I mean, first we need to acquire the knowledge. We need to acquire the knowledge. We need to deepen the knowledge. Once we deepen the knowledge, we need to contribute or strengthen the existing knowledge. Once we contribute or strengthening the existing knowledge, we are able to create the new knowledge to the rest of the world. That's why Vidya is not a root learning, but it is a creation of knowledge or creation of new knowledge in terms of concept, in terms of principles, in terms of theories, in terms of any procedure, in terms of any innovations. That is the creation of knowledge for the welfare of the society. Similarly, wisdom, viveka, to use right knowledge in right time, right place for right purpose. That is the wisdom. We the Indians, we are feeling like that. We are creating knowledge and we are using that created knowledge for the for the right purpose, for right time and right place, for the constructive purpose. If you look into the Western country, how they are dominating on other countries, I hope you are understanding. They have a huge amount of knowledge or different kinds of created things. How they are dominating, how whether they are what kind of wisdom they are using, whether they are using constructive purpose or destructive purpose, whether they are using their knowledge for the welfare of the society or dominating the society. But we, the Indians, we are thinking whole universal welfare, human being welfare, all living being welfare. We are taking care of that. That's why wisdom is necessary. What we have the knowledge or created the knowledge, we are using that knowledge for right cause, in right time, in right place, for the right purpose. That is the wisdom. We the graduate, what we are learning at the graduation or at a school, college and university, for that learned knowledge that must helpful to our life, that must helpful to lead the life, that must helpful to lead the family, that must helpful to lead the society for the taking care of each other. That is the wisdom. Another is vichakshanata, the skill set. To get the proper result of knowledge in real life, we need to have that skill. Means ability to demonstrate, ability to perform, ability to conduct, or ability to work. Now, if you look into the industry, they are having skilled labor workforce. We are talking the largest demography in our country is the youngest population. But what about the skills? The skills are very less in our Indians. If you compare it to the small countries of the other worlds, like German, South Korea's, even China people, they are having a, in terms of percentage, they are crossing a 50, 70, 80% after 1 o'clock. They are crossing, but our workforce is huge number, but that skilled labor is very less. If you look into the in terms of percentage, it measures in term by single digit, 7 to 8% only skilled labors. But rest of the countries they are having more than 50%. If you look into the USA, it crosses around 60, 65%. If you look into the German, it is crosses 76%. If you look into the Japan and South Korea, they are crossing 90%. Suppose if our youngest population, if transformed into skill, good knowledge with the right wisdom, definitely we will serve the whole world. How they are dominating with some kind of instrument by who are the dominating country, but we the Indians by our intellect, by knowledge, by wisdom, by skill set, we can dominate. Right now also, if you look into the world, the most big companies CEOs from the Indians. Now they have that ability. They are having that skills. That's why we need to think in today education, organization of knowledge content, what to know has taken over best of knowledge seeking inquiry. How to know is the important. What to know and how to know. The entire Indian knowledge tradition has always focused on how rather than what. That's why in the ancient period, how rather than what. In between the English came, they are giving what then the how. Right now we are focusing how rather than the what. That's why Indian knowledge system is essential, but we need to realize and to understand and to inculcate and inspire the rest of the world also. Why it is Indian knowledge system is important? We have new education system, not only the skills to use the technology, but also the life skills to use the knowledge in life are very important. Disproportionate skilling in education has damaged the process of creation of knowledge, but we need to upskilling, cross-skilling. That is essential. That's why we are in learning also we are quoting like this: unlearn, relearn. Learn, unlearn, relearn. I mean, what are the outdated things are there? We need to unlearn. We need to update ourselves. We need to relearn. Similarly, skills are also important. If the new things are, but we need to update our skilling. Even we need to have a other cross skillings also. Means we need to able to perform a different activities. That kind of learners or that kind of graduate we need to prepare, we need to ask inspires and aspires for the nation. If you look into the ancient Indian wisdom, it plays a very important role in this balancing act of Vidya, Viveka, and Vichakshana. Integration of this Indian knowledge system brings such a balance in Indian education for our life. That's why Indian knowledge system has its essence in the our Indian ancient, whether it is Upanishad or Vedas, but we need to re-look into that. It talks about the welfare of the society rather than the individual. The how the Indian knowledge system has been emerged, evolution takes place. It is not a revolution. It is like a evolution. It takes a large times to come into the present shape. That's why we are calling evolution. We are talking about Jnana, Vijnana, Jivana, Darshana. By Jnana, I mean knowledge. Vijnana, as we are talking about science, that is Vijnana, it gives us a Jivana Darshana. No? It evolved out of experience, observation, experimentation, and rigorous analysis that leads to Jnana, Vijnana, Jivana Darshana. Hello? Yeah, this kind of things we need to practice in day-to-day also instead of rote learning. This kind of jnana, vijnana, jivana, darshana to gain the knowledge, to validate the knowledge, to lead the life. Jnana, vijnana, jivana, darshana. The tradition of validating and putting into practice, it has impacted our education. Whether it is art or administration or law or justice, health or manufacturing and commerce in the ancient period. How the art is, that is Ashtadasa Vidyasthana, 64 forms of art. administration is there with respect to that Kautilya as well as Chanakya. They talks about administration, law, justice, health, Charaka Shrushruta. Now, like this, manufacturing, Nagarjuna is coming. Commerce, again, Chanakya is coming. That kind of how they validated and putting into practice in there through Jnana, Vijnana, Jivana Darshana. Knowing the Indian ancient knowledge, it transferred through generations via oral instructions and considered sacred and often secret. I mean, what the beliefs or rituals or practices which we are performing or practicing at our day-to-day life or at our locality. I am not talking about the urbanization. I am talking about the rural India, how we are practicing, how that transformed through generations via oral instructions and considered sacred and often secret, those kind of rituals and practices in different times of the with different periods in the year. Recently, we celebrated Ratha Saptami. Before that, we celebrated Makara Sankranti. What is the essence of that? We know that the transition of from colder to warmer. I mean, that is, harvest season is also coming. The sun is moving from southern to northern regions. Somewhere it is, we are calling Uttarayana, but in our country, we are calling it from transition from towards northern hemisphere. That is that kind of, we are taking holy bath, we are practicing rituals. That is the things which we are practicing. Similarly, other written practices adopted much later. Text written on palm leaves, rock edicts have been translated by scholars and disciples, and disciples by hearing, understanding, and perception often resulted in variations and contradictions with which needs to be analyzed. But most of our Indian knowledge system has been, oral with only very limited scriptures we are having on palms and on rocks or on different kinds of leaves also. Even they translated like Veda, Upanishad, all the things, Purana, those all, the Darshana, all they documentized with on leaves also, different kinds of leaves in the ancient period. It is the evolution. But identified sources contains knowledge inputs applicable to the modern one. But we need to take care of that identified sources, that what kind of knowledge that contains. That's why the Indian knowledge system is, that the cell has been established by Government of India. This IKS cannot be limited to the identified literary sources only. But we need to go beyond that. Not only literary sources, but oral practices without documentized practices and rituals which we are practicing at a different locality in the rural, tribal, remote places. That is also important. I hope that you are aware of that. Indian Council of Social Science, they are offered several kinds of research projects for with respect to Indian knowledge system. The Indian knowledge system wings are also offering different projects under the Indian knowledge system, major and minor project. Those are the things we need to tap the untapped local sources. We need to documentize that. That's why we need to working on that. That is the essence of the Indian knowledge system. Other rich repositories are also there with respect to the archaeology of Archaeology Survey of India. They are also working on that with respect to the building, pottery, tools, ornament. I hope that you heard recently in Gadag district, Lakundi, one place, while digging the foundation for construction of home, they got a certain ancient period some treasure of ornaments. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Audible, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
treasure
sir.
of thank you so much. They got a treasure of ornaments. but they are working. That belongs to which period? Whether their ancestors has kept, or it is related to any dynasty. Now they are working on that. See that boy's honesty, how he has handed over to the government. I mean, in a local police station, he has informed, immediately handed over. This is the Indian attitude, Indian student or Indian people attitude. It is not belongs to us, but it is belongs to a particular aspect. That's why it is belongs to government. It is handed over. Indirectly, the message is like this: suppose if we get a gold, the something bad things will happen. So we are believing in our tradition. Means that property is not belongs to us; it is belongs to someone else. Means we need to have a sweat and to earn something and to lead the life. That is the way of Indian peoples we are thinking. Now, anyhow, that Archaeological Survey of India is also working for Indian knowledge system. They are informing through the buildings, different types of tools and pottery with respect to ornament, with respect to different, that fossils which are dead remains in the on our India. Thus, speaks of the development through ages in the field of art, architecture, warfare, etc. Even traditional knowledge is also there. These are the other rich repository except from that, Veda and Upanishad. And the entire body of organized knowledge is divided into two sets in Mandavopanishad. It has been documentized. If you look into the entire knowledge in the world, we are calling that is, classified into two. It has been mentioned in the Mandavopanishad. That is the Paravidya and Aparavidya. We are calling Laukika Jnana, Alaukika Jnana. This is a very interesting story. If you look into that Mandavopanishad, this is the conversation between the disciple and his guru. The disciple is the Shaunaka and his teacher or guru is the Anjirasa. Once that Shishya, that Shaunaka asks a very profound questions to his teacher, that is Acharya Anjiras or Guru Anjiras. O glorious Guru, O glorious one, please tell me as to knowing what we shall come to know everything. O glorious one, please tell me as to knowing what we shall come to know everything. The knowledge is the huge. What to know? How to know? Is it possible to know everything? That very clever or brilliant or talented Shaunaka student or disciple asked this kind of questions to his teacher or guru or acharya. By the time he is the Anjirasa, the acharya is. It is essentially a wish for omniscience. In life, a number of people invest a large part of their entire life, money and energy in pursuit of knowledge. At the end, they become humble and start feeling that they have, after all, learned very little, and there is a lot more to learn. If you look into the ancient people, if you look into the Siddheshwara Swami, he is no more. How the humble Siddheshwara Swami, how their life is simple, how he is followed the simplicity in his life. He has dedicated his whole life, entire life for the learning and practicing and sensitizing the public. Yeah, that is the only way. Every such person shall have a profound respect to Shaunaka question. That is, what is Shaunaka question? That is, O glorious one, please tell me as to knowing what we shall come to know everything. Use knowledge. They are dedicated their whole life to learn, their whole entire money to learn, their entire energy, time. but they are not able to cover all the things. That's why Guru Angiras, he said about what to learn and how to learn. The Angiras, the teacher was very pleased with the question of that Shaunaka. He begins his answers by classifying knowledge into two categories. They are Paravidya and Aparavidya. Here the Paravidya or Aparavidya. Aparavidya refers to all knowledge that we refer to as worldly knowledge, Laukika Vidya. Worldly knowledge. This Aparavidya is categorized as a lower kind of knowledge. Under this category comes all the modern day subjects like science, arts, commerce, management, technology, engineering, which we are learning right now. These all are coming under the Apara Vidya or Laukika Vidya. To lead the life in this world, we are learning all these branches of learning or branches of sciences. In ancient day, they studied what are called Vidyas or Vidya include Vedas was there, Upanishad was there, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Purana, and other religious scriptures they learned. That's also for the leading of the life. Now, these different scriptures of the ancient period, even including Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Artha Shastra, all these comes under the category of lower kind of knowledge. I mean, Laukika Vidya or Apara Vidya. This Apara Vidya shall help us to make a living, have a dignified and respectful life in the society, have a thoughtful, intelligent mind, but never ever hope that we shall move towards omniscience. This is not the way for the fulfillment of such an aspiration. That's why we have one more Vidya, that is the Paravidya. As Saint Siddheshwara Swami learned, practiced, and he has preached in his life, that is the Paravidya. What we are doing, that is Aparavidya. This is Paravidya is the second category of knowledge, is referred to as, Para or Alaukika. Alaukika. It is a higher category of knowledge. The teacher says this Alaukika Vidya or Paravidya refers to that kind of knowledge by which the imperishable is known. That is Akshara Brahmana, who knows better. That is imperishable is known. This statement implies that there does exist a method and a tradition by which we can realize that which is permanent and imperishable. Which is permanent and imperishable. The Swami, Siddheshwara Swami has realized that. That's why which is the permanent, which is the imperishable. Both the object of knowledge and methods to be pursued to realize the goals are entirely different. That's why the teacher uses various not seen things. That is adrusham. The pursuit of Paravidya is very important in life. That's why it talks about Paravidya and Aparavidya. Who need Paravidya, they are moving towards the God. They are thinking the realization, self-actualization of life. But who are to lead their day-to-day life, we are thinking about the Paravidya, Laukika Vidya, with respect to science, technology, other things. Like this is the in Mandaka Upanishad, it has been divided into Vidyas two, Para and Apara. If you look into the Veda, it contains highest spiritual knowledge, but even it is Paravidya. I mean Alaukika, as well as the knowledge of the word Apara. Both it is there. The text of Veda is preserved in its pure and original form without any alteration. But without any alteration, they kept, but the time to time, the interpretation and extrapolation is entirely different. That's why those are the original script. If you look into the Chanakya, once he said the Indian knowledge system, it will goes back to 300 to 3000 to 500 5000 years back. But once the Acharya Chanakya in his Arthashastra, he has classified knowledge once needs to know into 4 types. That is Anvikshaki, Trayi, Artha, and Dandaniti. For that, we are learning with respect to Laukika Vidya. Anvikshaki, that is used in the general sense of contemporary as science, technology, engineering. It encompassing the logic and philosophy. Trayi used to refer to traditional knowledge with respect to Veda in particular. And Artha used to represent wealth or wealth creation through agriculture and commerce. Dandaniti used to represent politics and public administration. Like this, these are the different. Based on this, the learners will choose different levels of knowledge, their path for the learning or life path for their learning also. Anvikshaki, that is with respect to logic and philosophy. Trayi with respect to Veda. Then Artha with respect to creation of wealth with agriculture and commerce. Dandaniti, administration. That is politics and public administration. Even it is still relevant, as Acharya Chanakya said long back. This is the Indian knowledge system. If you look into the survey of Indian knowledge system domains, various sources of Indian knowledge systems are there. The vocabulary of Indian knowledge system is there. If you look into these details about the survey of Indian knowledge system, this Indian knowledge system domains and textile traditions, and even different methods, and how globally it has been influenced. The Indian knowledge system as a civilizational episteme. It represents civilization scale epistemic tradition. It has developed continuously over at least 3 millennia to 5 millennia. Unlike modern disciplinary knowledge, the Indian knowledge system is integrative, combining metaphysics, empirical observation, ethical reasoning, and practical application. That is the essence of Indian knowledge system. Knowledge was not separated from values or society. Instead, it was oriented towards dharma, order. That's why knowledge was not separated from any values or society. It is interconnected with each other. See that, Lakunti, when they are putting foundation, they got that, treasury or gold. They are having that value system. Knowledge was not separated from value. What the student learned, he is just a 8th standard student. One of my friend is headmaster in that school. I called and spoke with him. He told very innocent. No, there's such type of boys. He is the hero at that place. Everyone is talking about that boy, 8th standard student. That's why knowledge was not separated from any values or ethos or any society. It was oriented towards, it's our dharma. No, that is, yeah. Similarly, Artha, that is material well-being. But he is not fascinated towards that material, what he had got, that gold, that boy. No? But he is thought about dharma. Means he is respecting it belongs to not for us, it belongs to the society. Similarly, another is kama, aesthetic fulfillment. Similarly, the highest level is the liberation. We are speaking about self-actualization or liberation or moksha. Like this knowledge, not restricted to earn and to lead the life, but we have dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The different levels as that vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadiyati patratva, patratva tu dhanam pnoti, dhanatu dharmam, tataha sukha. Once we are learning, but by learning or educating, we are getting certain knowledge or certain abilities or certain skills. Based on our knowledge, abilities, and skills, we are getting certain employment. After getting employment, we are able to earn money. That earned money is we are not using ourselves, but we are using ourselves. But again, we are donating that amount to the rest of the world or society. By serving the needy people, we will feel happy. That will leads us to the moksha, we are thinking, liberation. We will get the happiness. That is the vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadiyati patratva. Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadiyati patratva, patratva tu dhanam pnoti, dhanatu dharmam, tataha sukhaha. That is the dharma. We need to promote that by earning. No? Like that, dharma is there, artha is there, kama is there, moksha is there, one's life. These kind of things there in the Indian knowledge system. That's why this Indian knowledge system evolved through dialogue, debate, experimentation, and institutional continuity, making it both philosophically rigorous and empirically grounded in the ancient period, from various Gurukula system with various gurus, with every Gurukula leads to a particular Upanishad. The summary of that all Upanishad is classified into 4 categories of knowledge, that is the Vedas. Now, I hope what I know I am presenting before you, but if you know more than me, I will welcome you also. But I am also learner in this. Now, just I started learning about this Indian knowledge system 5 years back. No, but I belongs to education, but my specialization is education technology. After the introduction of this Indian knowledge system, it makes me to fascinate towards learn about Indian knowledge system. That's why the domains of this Indian knowledge system and historical development, the broad disciplinary coverage, it talks about, philosophy and logic, mathematics and astronomy, medicine and life science, metallurgy and material science, architecture and engineering, linguistic and grammar, political theory and jurisprudence, arts, music and aesthetics, ecology and sustainability, pedagogy and psychology. Like this, the Indian knowledge system, it encompasses, these are the broad discipline it covers. If you look into the details about this Indian knowledge system related to the philosophy and logic, yeah, how this philosophy and logic it is there at the heart of Indian knowledge system. At the heart of Indian knowledge system lies a highly sophisticated tradition of philosophical inquiry and logical reasoning. To make the inquiry philosophical base, to make the things reasoning, logical reasoning. Systems such as Sankhya, Nyaya, and Vaishashika, Mimamsa, Vedanta, they engage deeply with questions of reality, knowledge, causation, mind, and ethics with respect to philosophy and logic. The Indian logic, especially Nyaya, it developed a rigorous methods of inferences, debate, and epistemology through concepts like pramana, vada, purva paksha, and uttara paksha. These traditions demonstrate the critical reasoning, not blind belief, but critical listening. By critical listening and listening to lead into the logical reasoning, not blind belief. It was central to Indian intellectual life, that is Indian knowledge system. That is the way of philosophy and logic. Similarly, mathematics and astronomy. This Indian knowledge system has made seminal contributions to the mathematics and astronomy, many of which laid foundations for global scientific development, not for ours only, but global scientific development. The concepts, for example, zero contributions to the word, decimal place value, trigonometric functions, infinite series, and all these concepts has been contributed to the world of mathematics by the Indians. And advanced algebraic methods emerged from the Indian scholars, ancient scholars. Even astronomy, mathematics and astronomy both are interrelated each other. The astronomers like Aryabhatta, Varamihira, Bhaskara, and the Kerala School of Mathematicians demonstrated a remarkable precision in planetary models, planetary motions, eclipse calculations, and timekeeping based on observation, computation, and mathematical reasoning rather than myth. That's why the mathematics and for mathematics and astronomy, the Indian contributions is huge. With respect to Aryabhatta, Varamihira, Bhaskara, they have contributed vast of array of knowledge to the Indian knowledge system with respect to mathematics and astronomy. Similarly, medicine and life science. Indian medicine system, particularly Ayurveda, it represents one of the world's oldest and most holistic life science system without any side effect. It integrates anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, surgery, nutrition, psychology, and preventive healthcare without any side effect. The concept of this, we are calling three dosha. That is Prakriti and Dinachari. It emphasizes the balance lifestyle, regulation and personalized medicine with respect to this Ayurveda. Idea now echoed in modern preventive and integrative healthcare models with respect to Ayurveda and yoga has taken place at prominent places in the healthcare system at the world. Similarly, metallurgy and material science also, we the Indians has contributed a lot of things. The technologies such as a vast wax casting, corrosion resistant iron pillars, precision metal mirrors like Arnumula Kannadi, that is Arnumula mirror, that is precision metal mirrors. This kind of invention reveals deep material knowledge about metallurgy and material science. Our ancient scientists with respect to metallurgy and material science, they know instead of glass, they prepared precision metal mirrors. Material knowledge, they have that material knowledge, and they have the thermodynamic, they have that craftsmanship passed through the systematic practice from ancient period by practicing that metallurgy and material science. Even architecture and engineering, that is we are calling Stapatya Vidya. Indian architecture and engineering reflect a synthesis of aesthetic sense. If you look into our ancient buildings or various ancient UNESCO heritage buildings in our countries, how they are aesthetically valued, mathematically accurate, and material science, what kind of material, how the cosmology is there. The text like Vastu Shastra, Shilpa Shastra, it has guided urban planning and temple construction, water management, and structural design in the ancient period. Those are the things which the present engineers they are learning. Those are the engineering marvels. Even when I was in Gujarat, I observed step wells are very good number of step wells are there in Gujarat. Those are even ancient dams, even temple buildings, temple acoustics, even earthquake resistant structure of the temples that demonstrate sustainable design principles aligned with the environment and society by our ancient architecture and engineers. That is the historical development which we are seeing. Similarly, linguistic is there, grammar is there. If you look into the extraordinary contribution of Panini Ashtadhyaya, a formula and generative grammar, right now we are using artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, or Pilot and other. But at our ancient period, Panini Ashtadhyaya, a formal and generative grammar unmatched in precision even by modern our artificial intelligence, that is computational linguistic also. The Indian tradition treated language not merely as communication, but as a cognitive and philosophical system, linking sound, how the sound is emerging, how the shabda is generating sound, that is me. Through that, we are getting certain meaning, that is artha, and we are getting certain cognition. This legacy continues to influence modern linguistics with respect to artificial intelligence and language theory. Yeah, just yeah. Even if you look into the present political theories and this Naya or jurisprudence, or the ethical governance and social responsibility, that is political theory. If you look into the Artha Shastra and Dharma Shastra, and ethics articulated ideas of justice, statecraft, diplomacy, taxation, warfare, and welfare of the society. That is the political theory and jurisprudence. The concepts such as dharma, rajadharma, swarajya, surajya framed governance as a moral duty, not merely an exercise of power, contrasting sharply with purely procedural, and it is a political model. That way of political theory and jurisprudentials they are having at the ancient period, but the things are entirely different at present. Another area is art, music, and aesthetics. With respect to, I am talking about survey of Indian knowledge system domains. That is a historical development. The art, music, and aesthetic. The human beings understanding of aesthetic and human emotion through the Natya Shastra introduced the rasa theory, analyzing how art evokes and refines emotional experiences. It is coming under the Ashtadasa Vidyasthana, 64 forms of art, but they are expressing their emotions through they are expressing emotions through their practice. Through Indian music, dance, visual art, these are the grounded in precise structure, even raga, thala, natya, gesture, rhythm. These are the demonstrating that creativity in Indian knowledge system is very disciplined, methodological, deeply psychological. That's why that Ashtadasa Vidyasthana, sorry, that is Ashtadasa Vidyasthana, 18 forms of knowledge, as well as 64 forms of art, including art, music, and aesthetic. Similarly, ecology and sustainability is also their thought with respect to Pancha Mahabhuta and Yajna. To preserve that ecology and sustainability. The traditional water management, agriculture, forest conservation, seasonal living practices that reflect the sustainability rooted in their lives experiences, not abstract policy, but it must reflect in their life policy. As I told you at the beginning, last Sunday we celebrated Artha Saptami. Why we are celebrating? We are thinking that sustainability rooted in our life experience. Similarly, that Makara Sankranti, how we are taking care of the ourselves, how we are seasonal life living practices. It is reflecting in our day-to-day life with a reflection in sustainability. It rooted in our life or in our practices. We are promoting that ecology and sustainability. Similarly, pedagogy and psychology is also there in the ancient Indian knowledge system for the sake of holistic education. That is integration or integrating intellectual, ethical, emotional, and physical development. That is
Sir,
the
it's
way
time,
of
sir.
giving education. Integrating intellectual, ethical, emotional, and physical development. That is the way of giving holistic education. That kind of pedagogy and psychological system was embedded each other through the Gurukula system of education. The Gurukula system, it has prioritized the mentorship. Right now we are bringing into the practice that mentorship or mentoring as per NAC or as per that teacher education. We are talking national mentoring machine also. That mentoring is also, it was there in the ancient Gurukula system. The experiential learning, getting experiences by doing, experiential learning, self-discipline in the Gurukula, experiential learning in the Gurukula, character formation in the society. That is the way of developing abilities. Even psychological insights embedded in yoga, that is Sankhya, and Buddhist traditions. It offers profound understanding of cognition, attention, emotion, and mental well-being. Many nowadays validated by contemporary psychology and neuroscience with respect to ancient pedagogy and psychology also. That is the historical development. If you look into all these domains, reveals that Indian knowledge system, it represents a unified, hello, hello, yeah, this Indian knowledge
Sir,
system,
time is up, sir. Actually, time.
yeah, this Indian knowledge system represents a unified, interdisciplinary, and ethically grounded approach to our present education or a knowledge. This Indian knowledge system does not compete with modern science. Rather, it complements and enriches it, offering alternative epistemology, sustainabilities or sustainable practices, and human-centered framework essential for the challenges which we are facing in the 21st century during these geopolitical things. Similarly, if you look into the historical development during Vedic, post-Vedic period and classical period, early modern periods also. The second point, sources of Indian knowledge system, even classification of this Indian knowledge text. It was a survey of available primary text, translated primary text, secondary resource material, difference between Sutra, Bhashya, Karika, Vartika text, even 14 or 18 Vidyasthana, Tantra Yukti. These are the sources of Indian knowledge system. These primary sources, if you look into the primary sources, are three kinds or four kinds we can make it list. Shruti, Smriti. These are the broader ways. Smriti and Smriti. Shruti and Smriti. Under Shastra literature is there, and there is a technical treatise, Shruti, Veda and Upanishadu, Smriti, Dharma Shastra, Itihasa, Purana, Shastra literature, Ayurveda, astronomy, even grammar, technical treatise, Tantra, and this architecture, I mean Shilpa Shastra. To understand the primary sources of Indian knowledge system in their true depth and rigor, it is essential to examine the
Sir,
all
hearing
the hello.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sir,
all
excuse me,
these,
sir.
yeah,
Sir, it's already 1:15, I think, sir. You already
yeah, another
15
another
minutes
15
extra.
minutes. Sir, I started 10 minutes late. If
Really,
you
sir.
permit,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
yeah, I will take another
Okay,
10
okay.
minutes.
Okay, okay, sir.
Now, if you look into the Shruti and Smriti, Shruti related to Veda and Upanishad, the most foundational source of Indian knowledge is Shruti. It means that which we are hearing. Shruti refers to primarily to the Vedas and Upanishad, which were preserved through highly disciplined and oral traditional from over a century. Similarly, if you look into the Smriti, that those are the Dharma Shastra, Itihasa, Purana. These are the second major source category. These are remembered. Smriti means remembered. Those are heard, something is remembered. Which are the remembered? Those are the Smriti, Dharma Shastra, Itihasa, Purana. Shruti means Veda, Upanishad. Those are the Smriti. These Smriti texts interprets, contextualizing, and operationalizing the insights of Shruti for social, ethical, and historical life. If you look into the
Sir?
Dharma Shastra, yeah,
May I interrupt you, sir? Sir,
yeah,
can
please.
you please change that slide, sir? The slides
No,
are
madam,
not
this is the no.
the last
What you are going to discuss in the whole this short-term course. This is the gist overview of Indian knowledge system.
Okay.
Only three slides. This one,
Okay.
yeah. That's why I am not able to. I am not moving to the next slide. Yeah,
Okay,
this
sir.
is another one. This is the end one. Case studies. But rest of the things I have, but I am keeping that one. Yeah, Shruti and Smriti, these are the two important, which are the things which we are hearing, that is the Shruti, which are the things we remember, those are the Smriti. Shrutis are Veda, Upanishadu, Smritis are Dharma Shastra, Itihasa and Purana. Similarly, we are having Shastra literature, that is Ayurveda, astronomy, grammar and other sciences. It is the systematic, technical, and discipline specific knowledge. If you look into the Ayurveda Shastra, that is Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, it presents detailed discussions on anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, surgery, diagnostic, and preventive medicine without any side effect. Now, even astronomical and mathematical texts articulate planetary motion, time measurement, even geometry, calculation methods based on observation and inferences. Even grammatical Shastra, Panini Ashtadhyaya, it demonstrates the extraordinary formula, precision offering rule-based linguistic analysis unmatched in global intellectual history. These are the Shastra literature, shows that Indian knowledge system or traditions were empirical, analytical, and methodological rigorous, not speculative or mystical. Even some technical treatise, Tantra or Silpa Shastra, we are calling. Tantra, right now also we are using. The Tantra refers not merely to ritual text, but a methodological manuals. Detailing giving a manuals or handbooks, details about the procedure of how to handle, how to perform, and instruments, measurements, and systematic application, especially in medicine, architecture, metallurgy, and ritual sciences. It talks about the Tantra. Even Shilpa Shastra is the architecture. Right now, with respect to architecture, we are using engineering, structural design, structural stability, acoustic material use, proportionate use, even to give a aesthetic sense to the different architecture. It is, Shilpa Shastra grounded in codified technical knowledge and empirical testing. That is the arbitrary creativity they used. Like this, the Indian knowledge system possesses a multi-layered, disciplined, and interconnected knowledge architecture. That is, Shruti, it provides foundational insight. Smriti provides contextual knowledge, socially and ethically. Shastra, it systematizes the scientific inquiry. Technical treaty translates theory into the practice. By understanding all these sources is crucial for any serious academic engagement with respect to Indian knowledge system. If you look into the, I will shift to, I am not able to show, but if you explore one document with respect to incorporating Indian knowledge system in Indian higher education curricula, the UGC has brought out guidelines for that. With respect to teachers training like this, short-term course with respect to Indian knowledge system, then how to bring this Indian knowledge system into our curriculum. Directly to introduce the Indian knowledge system as a subject, or to incorporate Indian knowledge system into our existing content also. To give the touch to the present content based on the foundations of Indian knowledge system. That is the way. But we, the teachers, we are at a higher education system. We need to take care of that. Even what we are having translated primary text is there. Sushruta Samhita is there. Charaka Samhita is there. Aryabhatiya Samhita is there. Artha Shastra is there. Secondary sources of resources is which who has understood and read the things and made the commentary, even colonial era survey, even modern critical editions and interdisciplinary scientific validations. Those are the things which were available as a secondary resource. So if you look into the Dharmapala write-ups with respect to Indian knowledge system, if you note down, you will get the idea. Dharmapal, he has written good source of knowledge with respect to Indian knowledge system. You can explore, you will get the idea. Similarly, classification of Indian knowledge text into Sutra, Bhashya, Karika, and Vartika. Sutra is the extremely concise aphoristic statement. Bhashya is the detailed explanatory commentary. Karika is the metrical summaries of doctrine. Vartika, critical sub-commentaries refining argument. It was detailed sheet as given in the Panini Ashtadhyaya Sutra. Similarly, Patanjali Mahabhashya related to Bhashya. If you look into the classification of this Indian knowledge text, it is highly sophisticated and layered structure of its textual traditions. Similarly, the vocabulary of Indian knowledge system, Pancha Mahabhuta, concept of Sutra, introductions to the concept of, the Dharma, Punya, Atma, Karma, Yajna, Shakti, Varna, Jati, Moksha, Lokha, Dana, Itihasa, Purana. These are some of the very important, but it is we are not able to or translate. That's why one of the most important challenge in engaging seriously with this kind of Indian knowledge system is question of translation, interpretation, and extrapolation. While translation is essential for accessibility, there are certain core concepts in Indian knowledge system. It cannot be fully or accurately rendered into single word equivalent in our local language or English or Hindi or other any modern language. These are often referred to as non-translatable terms like dharma. If you look into the dharma, the frequently translated as loosely translated as religion or law or duty. No, but that duty is important. Loosely we are translated into religion, but law and duty. Even yet none of these captures its full meaning of dharma. Dharma refers to that which sustains, upholds, and harmonizes. The dharma that which sustains, upholds, and harmonizes between the individual, between the society, between the continent, between the countries, between the cosmos. That is the dharma of indigenous. The dharma operates simultaneously at multiple levels, at personal conduct, social responsibility, ethical order, cosmic balance. It is the context sensitive, not absolute, and must be interpreted in relations to time, place, role, and circumstances. As we begins with jnana, vijnana, vichakshana. That is wisdom. No, wisdom, it is how we are using, where we are using. Similarly, karma is there. That is, often we are misunderstood as fate or destiny. In reality, karma signifies action and its consequences. What we are doing, we are getting, reflecting that. It encompassing intention, process, and result, action and its consequences. That's why we need to make a nishkama karma, or begins with that statement. It reflects a moral and causal framework in which human agency play a central role.
Sorry,
Karma
sir.
is not
125, sir. It's 125, sir.
Hello?
2 o'clock we have one more session, sir. Please.
Sir, up to my session is 1:30 or
Up to 1, sir, actually.
15, sir.
But it's already 125, sir. 2 o'clock we have one more session. Yes,
Okay,
sir. That's why I
okay.
disturbed you. Sorry,
Yeah,
sir.
okay, I will wind up,
Yes,
sir.
please,
I
sir.
will
Sorry,
wind
sir.
up.
Sorry, sir.
Just to give another 2 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. If you look into the philosophical foundation of knowledge with respect to Sankhya is there, Vaishashika is there, Nyaya is there. For methods in Indian knowledge system, we have a different concept building, testing hypothesis, using methods of Tantra Yukti, introductions to the Pramana and their validity, Upapatti, standard of argumentation in Vada, that is tradition, Vada, Samvada, Vivada, Jalpa, with Vithanda. These are the concepts which we are using for Vada traditions. Under this, Samvada, Vada and Samvada, it is acceptable. Vivada, Vithanda. We are not, sometimes it is essential, but we are giving more importance to Vada and Samvada. Even concept of Purva Paksha and Uttara Paksha is also how these methods they used in the ancient period, even it is still more relevant. Similarly, we have certain case study, but I am not able to present before you due to the paucity of time. But India and the world, influence of this Indian knowledge system on the world, how it made influences on the world, then how we are exchanging with other classical civilization and inter-civilization exchanges between the different continent. This is very important aspect. We the teachers, we need to take care of this Indian knowledge. We need to get exposure to acquire the knowledge related to Indian knowledge system, to deepen our understanding about the Indian knowledge system. Then we can bring this Indian knowledge system into our teaching practices, I mean in our curriculum. Then the things will begin. Everything is rooted in our Indian knowledge system. That's why we the Indians, we need to promote the ancient, our Indian teachers, like with respect to Charaka, Shushruta, Vagbhata, Aryabhata, Brahmagupta, Bhaskara. Person is, specialist in a particular field. These are looks like a rishis, but rishis means gurus in the ancient period. They lived their life like, rishis, guru, sannyasi. They contributed a lot of things to the field of education or field of the world. If you look into this chart, you will get what they contributed. Our ancient Indian scholars or gurus or sages, it is available. These 18 Vidyasthanas of ancient India, we will discuss in the day after tomorrow class. I will focus on these 4 Veda, 6 Vedanga, Ityasa, Dharma Shastra, Darshana, Nyaya, and 4 Upaveda, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Stapatya Veda. Even Chaushot Kalas are there, 64 forms of arts was there. It was learned, it was practiced in the ancient, our Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramashila, Ujjaini, ancient universities. They are coming, learners are coming from across the world with, discipline specific with respect to the Chaushot Kalas also. We, the teacher, we need to take inspirations from our ancient gurus, like as I listed here. I am not recite the names here, it is presented before you. We need to take that lessons, how they mentored their student who came from across the world to quench their thirst of knowledge and gain skills in their field of respective. Yeah, with this, I would like to thank for your patience. I begin late, I end also late. Thanks for your valued times. Over to you, sir.